Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to be installing a larger intercooler. You can see here the intercooler on the left is the new one, and the intercooler on the right is the OEM one. So we're going to be able to achieve a lot better IATs with this larger intercooler. So let's go ahead and install it. You can see I've already pulled off the bumper cover, and I have removed a lot of plastic trim. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and plasti dip the crash bar, or the actual bumper, and then we'll go ahead and install the intercooler. So I'm just going to go ahead and spray this nice and light, not too much. Now we'll let it dry for a few minutes. Okay, it's been like 3 or 4 minutes. We're going to go ahead and do another layer. Nice and easy though, you don't want to get any drips. Nice. Looking a lot better. Alright, it's been another 4 or 5 minutes. We're going to go ahead and do our last coat. I'm going to try to get maximum coverage this time without getting any runs. So I might go back over the same spot once or twice. So like right here, I'll have to hit that 2 or 3 times. But the rest of the bumper is looking pretty good. And it is very windy, which is not good, but I mean, it's plasti dip. It's not like caliper paint, so it's not too delicate, you know what I mean? Okay. Yeah, looking good. Okay, so there have been a few developments. First of all, I got the bumper off. And then there is an interference issue right about right here. This plastic piece, this thing, I'm going to have to cut this area out. So I got my Dremel, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that square off because it's like bumping into the intercooler tubing. So we got to cut that off. Okay, so now that notch has been cut out of the way. Try to get the camera to focus here. There you go, you can see. We cut some of the flap off down there, and hopefully this will work now. Okay, that was definitely a struggle, but I was able to get the crash bar back on, and I got the intercooler in there. You can see we got the holes lined up. We got the bolts in there. I just gotta tighten them up, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, next step, we're gonna remove the intercooler tubing, and we're gonna loosen that clamp right there. Okay, I just screwed up. So I thought the longer intercooler tube went on this side, but let me show you something. I was working down here and taking apart this intercooler muffler, and I just realized that the new tube actually fits right here like this, okay? So this is the shorter tube. I'll get the original. Yeah, so I think it went like, yeah, it went like this. So here's the original, here's the new one. They're pretty much the same. And then the longer one, I thought it replaced all of this in here, but that's not right. The longer one goes over here. So here's the longer one. And it actually goes on the passenger side, connected to the turbo. So my mistake. I gotta put all that back together. So 1 minute. Okay, not gonna lie. A week has passed, and I've been driving around with the new intercooler. I got everything tubed up. So you can see I have one of the T-bolt clamps there. I mean, that's not like super difficult to get on right back there, but this one was pretty difficult. And you can see I have if I can get the dang old camera to focus, I have like a regular hose clamp. Those are good up to like 400 psi, even for like really cheap ones. So the original like T-bolt that came with the kit was not working, or the T-bolt clamp I meant to say. They were like terrible. Honestly, I hate them. I hate them so much, because that one popped off while I was driving around. And this one, let me tell you, this tubing was almost impossible to get on here. I mean, like, I had to boil this thing. I had to get the hair dryer to keep it hot, because like once you take the pot of like boiling water off the stove and bring it out here, and you like throw this guy in there, you're losing temperature quickly. So this thing was just a nightmare to work with. And then you can see here, this clamp is terrible. Okay, I really dislike this clamp. These T-bolt clamps, they're so wide that it's harder to get like a good grip on there. And sure, okay, like the downside of this one, I got one of these cheap ones. You can kind of see back there. Let me see if I can crawl closer. You can see kind of on the back right there, the clamp is digging into the silicone and tearing it up. So it's like gonna damage the hose, but honestly, you can get these hoses pretty cheap. Like, I saw them on ECS Tuning. I forget how much. I think it was like 50, 60 bucks. You can get like red, blue, or black. I like the black, nice and sleeper. But you can see we got a T-bolt clamp. So the T-bolts work great for like larger areas where it's not like super difficult. Like, you got a lot of room to work back in here with your hand. It doesn't look like it on camera, but trust me, it's super easy to get like this part on. But these ones on the intercooler snout are just a nightmare. I'm telling you, this took me 2 days after I stopped filming last. So I got them on there, drove around for like a week with this thing, and honestly, like the T-bolt clamps, I drove like 200 miles and they held up, and then probably yesterday they popped off, and luckily I was outside my neighborhood, so I just drove right back in. I wasn't stranded too far away from home. Oh yeah, let's talk about the custom clamps, or brackets I meant to say. So yeah, it's a piece of wood. I mean, it's kind of ugly. Let's not be mean about it, okay? These are shelving brackets, and I don't have a welder, okay? So I got these shelving brackets, and they're made of steel, and I just cut them with the Dremel. Found these bolts. I don't even know what they are, but they fit. And then I got this piece of wood here that's been plasti dipped as like kind of a shock absorber. I'd much rather use like a rubber bushing or something, but I just can't find anything. I mean, my Home Depot is a mess. So I'll keep thinking about, like, I've got ideas, and I'll work on something to make this a little better, not so like janky. But the intercooler, honestly, is like, it's looking so good. And with this now plasti dipped, the whole crash bar, it's looking amazing. I'll put the bumper back on and give you guys some beauty shots. But you can see here, the front end of this car is looking so good. And honestly, like, this is a plug and play kind of upgrade where you don't need to tune for an intercooler, and you don't need to tune for a cold air intake. As you could probably see here, I'll give you a view. You don't need to tune for either of these. And honestly, they make a big difference in performance. Like, I can feel my ECU is still stock, and everything is pretty much factory except for like these two upgrades. And I'm pretty satisfied for now, but you can tell we're going stage 2, you know what I mean? We're almost there. We just got to get that upgrade back there, you know what I'm talking about. So I got some things I'm planning on doing, and we'll just wait for things to show up in the mail and then crank out some videos when the stuff arrives. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the bumper back on and give you guys some view with the bumper on, because it's looking so good. You can't even tell this thing has a big old intercooler.
Alright guys, that's going to be it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye!